Week 13, guys. It's probably the last week of the regular season for you in fantasy football.
Yep.
We're going to prep you for this week. Maybe you need a win to get to the playoffs. Maybe you secured it and you want to get a better seed. Whatever it looks like, Week 13, we're going to give you all the start-sit advice. Let's get straight to it.
Welcome to the FantasyLand Football Podcast.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome. Yes, welcome into the show. Hey, this is Zach, and that is Daniel Badaki.
Daniel Steven Kaku Badaki.
Oh, spell it out one more time.
Daniel Steven Kaku Badaki Contreras with a little extra.
I said spell, but I meant say.
I mean,
wow, what a beautiful name. That sounds way better than Zachary Daniel Savage. That just sounds way cooler. But, hey, guys, welcome into the show. Hope you're having a great day.
Yeah.
As you know, it is Wednesday, the 2nd of December.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
And we are pumped to give you a great podcast today. Waivers on the show yesterday, Badaki. And hopefully you were able to listen in because waivers, you need to approach them completely differently now.
Yep, absolutely. So much game planning. It's literally right
strategy.
about it started really if you knew that you were going to make the playoffs or if you're still trying to make the playoffs. But even if you're still trying to make the playoffs, still game plan as if you are in the playoffs and you're going to make the playoffs because you just never know what's going to happen.
Exactly. And waivers still haven't processed. So you can go ahead and give it a listen if you'd like. Let's talk about some news.
What is going on here?
All right, what is going on in the National Football League? We are breaking down the need-to-know news
Yeah.
today, okay? Now, this news is ever-changing, but let's break it down for you. Bye weeks this week, Badaki. Who is it going to be? Who's on bye? The last bye weeks.
Last bye weeks for everyone. Tampa Bay Bucks and the Panthers. Ronald Jones, Rob Gronkowski, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, all these people, Robbie Anderson, CMC, which is really good. This is a good sign that this bye is happening because CMC is going to come back.
Oh, yeah. He'll be back next week in playoffs.
And you're buzzing.
That's right. Brandon Ayuk is officially off the COVID reserve list, which is great news because he's been electric every time he's played.
Yeah. It sounds weird, but this team's getting healthy right now at the right time, even though they have so many people hurt.
Yeah, they are getting healthy, and they played a really, really great game on Sunday.
Yeah, exactly.
Lots of schedule changes, but why don't you walk us through? Feels like almost every game is in danger of moving, but what happened this week? What do we need to know?
Obviously, the main change, which is the game tonight, is going to be Ravens versus Steelers tonight at 3:40 p.m. There's a reason why it's so early because the lighting of the Christmas tree in New York. Just FYI. Right. So that game is being played tonight, okay? Week 13, Monday night, which I think it was Sunday night, is Washington. We need a Christmas jingle now.
Christmas, the snow's falling down.
Merry Christmas. Merry Chrysler.
Merry Chrysler. Okay, sorry. That was completely irrelevant, but continue.
Washington versus Steelers, which I'm pretty sure was on the Sunday night, now moved to Monday night, week 13, okay? So something.
Give us a primetime game.
That's right, primetime game.
We want primetime.
And then also, which was a doubleheader, now moved to Tuesday night, which is the Cowboys versus Ravens on Tuesday night. So set your lineups accordingly. Just good to know, I like when my players have later games. Personally, I really hate when all my players line up with the first half of the day games because it's you play, and then I'd rather play catch up than you know what I mean.
I get you. Yeah, I know what you mean, bro.
Mental.
Not some exciting news, but something we need to tell you. Obviously, right after we recorded the podcast yesterday, we got news of Will Fuller And Will Fuller has been suspended for 6 games
Yeah.
for using performance-enhancing, for breaking the policy that the NFL has set in place. So he will miss the rest of the year.
The GG's, boys. Thanks for playing.
And probably some of next year, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, week 12, there are, 5 more games? I think it's just one game he misses.
Yes.
He would just miss week 1 of next year, depending on where he is, where he falls, or if he's still on the Texans. But, I mean, if you are a Will Fuller owner, you are extremely upset, disappointed. This was your wide receiver too. Now you have to figure something out. Hopefully you have a replacement for him.
Yeah. And I would say one name to monitor that we didn't talk on the show yesterday is maybe a Kiki QT. Might be worth a pickup and just seeing what this next game looks like. I think Brandon Cooks is the obvious replacement there.
Yeah.
And if you have him, you could probably start him with some confidence. We'll talk about it, but
Yeah.
anyway, guys, the best way to keep up with all things fantasy football is to follow us on our social media accounts. Instagram is at FantasyLand Football. Twitter is at FantasyLand_FB. You can watch the show on YouTube so you can see our faces while we talk. Or you can listen on any podcast platform in the world. And we now have TikTok. So search Fantasyland Football on TikTok and you will be able to find us. But we're going to get into some matchups for the week, right?
Yeah.
But before we do that, we want to quickly tell you about RSA. Okay, RSA, we believe, is the go-to for all things sports memorabilia.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that most signed sports memorabilia companies don't actually work directly with the athletes? Well,
No, didn't know that.
they don't. They use third-party companies, but not RSA. RSA makes deals directly with the athletes in bulk, so you can always have the best deal in the industry. RSA is also the largest JSA authenticated autograph distributor and promises a money-back guarantee on all products. Head to shoprsa.com for all your signed sports memorabilia needs. I just saw a photo of them doing some Devontae Adams signed jerseys, and Devontae was in the building. So, obviously, we already announced that giveaway winner,
Yeah.
but there's another one coming soon. So, stay tuned. Stay
That's right.
tuned. Again, shoprsa.com. All right, let's talk about some Week 13 starts or sits.
Excuse me, can I touch you for a minute? Excuse me, can I touch you for a minute?
Yes, sir. Okay, Week 13. A lot of information to break down, and we are going to break down 8 matchups today on this show. Okay?
Wow.
A lot of information for each. That's right. But there's a lot to talk about, and we're going to be breaking down 8 today. We're going to be breaking down 7 tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's a matchup you don't hear about today, we're going to cover it tomorrow on the show. So don't stress. Don't worry. So let's start with some of the morning games for Week 13, Badaki.
Yeah, 8-3 Browns at the 8-3 Titans. I mean, wow, this is going to be a good game. Nick Chubb, I expect. I don't know. Nick Chubb and Derrick Henry, these guys could really be punching it at each other right now, which is going to be amazing. A run first game.
Yeah,
actually,
definitely for both teams.
Yeah,
Nick Chubb's been great since he's come back.
Yeah. All right. Brown side of the ball, obviously Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, those are the guys you're starting. Kareem Hunt didn't have his best game last week, but I still think you have to start him. There's no question. He's a good flex, a good low RB2. If you do have him, start him without no question, without a doubt. My only concern in this game is really just the wide receivers and Baker Mayfield. I'm not really excited about starting either of these guys. You know, Jarvis Landry obviously had a really good game last week against the Jags. But like I just said, against the Jags. So that's not really somebody I'm excited to start. I'm only starting him based on matchup. And, you know, the Titans are decent. They're not terrible. They're just right in the middle. They give up, you know, some points, but they don't give up points. But I think Jarvis Landry is not a guy that I'm confident to tell you to start, especially in the season that we're in now. You have to solidify playoffs. You have to have, you know, confidence in starting players.
It's not someone that I want to hinge my playoff hopes on. That's for sure.
Exactly. So that obviously Baker Mayfield, I'm not excited to start. And then also Austin Hooper. Austin Hooper, I think, is a good talking point here. What are you confident starting him in this scenario?
I don't think I'm confident in starting almost any tight end except for Travis Kelce. But,
Right.
I think he had a pretty decent game. But if the touchdown wasn't there, I mean, we would be talking about 3.1 total points?
Yeah. Like it was nothing.
Yeah, it's hard to trust 3.3 points, but he got a touchdown. He's going to be a threat in the end zone again. I think he's maybe a good Hail Mary, a good throw it in and see what happens.
Okay, that's fair. I think that's a fair, I guess, analysis. Let's move on to the Titans side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
AJ Brown, you're starting. Derrick Henry, you're starting.
Mm-hmm.
I think personally, for me, I think Ryan Tannehill is a good stream. I think this is a good streaming option this week. They're playing at home, and it's just a good opportunity. Ryan Tannehill plays really well at home. He does. Yeah, he just plays well.
Yeah, no, he seems to be the guy that is the glue in this team.
Yeah,
and sometimes that means he's not going to have an amazing fantasy day, but he's going to have a good quarterback day. I mean, football day, not fantasy related. Most weeks, and sometimes that translates to points, sometimes it doesn't. He kind of just does what the team needs him to do.
What I was listening to earlier was, I think, Good Morning Football. Nate Burleson said that if the Chiefs didn't have this miracle comeback in the playoffs, the Texans would have won the Super Bowl. Titans, I keep saying Texans. The Titans would have won the Super Bowl.
Right. Well, I mean, both could be said about both teams, right? I mean, last year, the Texans had that massive lead against the Chiefs, remember? Mm-hmm. And then the Chiefs came back. But you're right, obviously the Titans we're talking about. But it's not wrong there. I mean, the Titans maybe would have won that game. It's hard to say, though.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to say. Corey Davis, he had a decent game last week. I think he put up 10 points.
Yeah.
I think this is a decent flex. I would personally be starting Corey Davis over Jarvis Landry, over Rashad Higgins,
right?
Of these guys against on the other side of the ball, just purely because he's getting targets.
Let me ask you: has Corey Davis shed the bust tag? He was a first-round pick. He's done really nothing at all. Has he busted? Has he shed? Come out of his cocoon like a beautiful butterfly?
I don't think he has yet, just purely because there's so much more talent around him. He has Derrick Henry, and then AJ Brown emerged. He is massive, huge.
Oh yeah.
Like size. I'm just doing comparisons. I think Corey Davis would be amazing with Tom Brady.
Right.
With a quick slant guy. He's really quick. He's like a Wes Welker type, Julian Edelman. I think
what's fair to say is obviously he's had a much better year than he's ever had.
Yeah.
And maybe he's just a really great wide receiver too to have on a team.
Maybe.
A football team, not fantasy.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so as well. Jonnu Smith, goose egg.
Happy for him.
Goose egg of the week last week.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible.
Jonnu Smith, wow.
He needs some milk.
Someone help this boy.
Yeah, I think you said it good earlier. I'm not really confident starting any tight ends besides Travis Kelce and Jonnu Smith. Even though he is a must start, I'm just not confident in starting him.
Oh my gosh, it sucks. It sucks. If Jonnu Smith, you probably traded for Jonnu Smith, and he's not really done much for you. I mean, he's been okay, but. The thing I want to talk about with Jonnu Smith, last week, there were 0 targets for Jonnu Smith. That's very, very concerning for me.
Yeah.
Very concerning because the targets weren't there already. He had like 2 targets a game, 3 targets a game, but 0. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think.
But you're right. You might have to start him.
You actually have. There's no other option. I'm starting Jonnu Smith over Austin Hooper. Yes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. So, he's still Austin Hooper found the end zone. Jonnu Smith wasn't even targeted. Wow.
Yeah. Let me, you know what's crazy? Jonnu Smith is the 5th best tight end on the year. And in week 6, he gave you 2 points. In week 7, he gave you under 2 points. In week 8, he gave you under 5. Last week, he gave you an egg. Somehow, he's the 5th best tight end on the year. That honestly just wraps up the tight end position really well into a bow. But, yeah, probably have to start him.
Yeah, I have to.
All right, let's talk about the 6-5 Raiders at the defeated Jets. The only defeated Jets. I was going to say undefeated, but that doesn't make any sense. They are the defeated Jets. Somehow, Adam Gase is still a head coach in the National Football League, and he has won 0 games this year. It's honestly, and I hate to say it, but it's not acceptable anymore.
He must have some sort of contingency in his contract. He must. Because there's no way an organization is letting this head coach that still can't put everything together. Okay, we seen Matt Patricia, Dan Quinn. We seen who else has been fired this year. That's it.
Tons of people have been fired. I mean, it's just I'm on the mindset, and I know we have a lot of Jets fans listening to the podcast.
Right.
So you tell us what you think. But I actually think the GM is thinking, I know this guy can't win a game. So let's just keep him. Because right now, we need to be bad. We need to secure Trevor Lawrence. This is our future hinges on Adam Gase doing what he does best, losing games. Go ahead, Adam. We believe in you. We trust you. I promise you, this guy's not making it past the offseason. But he's going to get them to where they want to be, which is the number 1 pick.
Look, he didn't give us any wins. But he got us where we needed to be, and that was in the first.
Exactly. Keep him on another year.
Yeah, wow. No. Look, you did such a great job. First pick. I mean, let's do it again.
Let's do it again. All right. Well, let's talk about the Raiders. Obviously, last week, what a smash matchup it was for every single player against the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
And then most of the Raiders found themselves on our trash list on our recap.
But more than anything, I want better execution. Are we clear on that? I want better execution.
It wasn't good enough.
No.
It was embarrassing. And I'm not saying this to put any of the Raiders down because they know that. They would be in that locker room just being like, that was not good enough.
Right.
You know, Derek Carr was one of the streams of the week and just really only gave you not even a full point in fantasy. But let's talk about him, right? You're starting, obviously, Josh Jacobs. Has that ankle injury that he's dealing with. But it looks like from all indications he will play. Now, that game last week for Josh Jacobs, I think he's the only one who has an excuse of all the Raiders.
Okay.
Reason being, he left the game in the third quarter. And the game script really didn't help him. He only got 10 touches the entire game. Whereas Josh Jacobs is the kind of guy you want to be feeding touches to, especially in this offense. You got to run the ball and open up the play action. But, guys, like the Jets, they're playing the Jets. You're going to be starting Josh Jacobs against the New York Jets.
Right?
Yeah. There's no hesitation.
Yeah, there's really no hesitation here. I think this is look, we are the Raiders, and we messed up last week, and we have a good bounce back opportunity to play the Jets. Here it is. You know, I am Derek Carr. I am Darren Waller. I am Josh Jacobs, and we are the Raiders, and we're going to beat this team, and I think they're going to put up significant amount of points.
I am Iron Man. I don't know why I said that. Anyway, yeah, look. Go Thanos. Okay. Look, obviously you're starting Darren Waller coming off an off week.
Yeah.
I think the question I want to ask you about is Derek Carr, because last week it was like, yeah, this is a great stream. And obviously didn't even put up a full fantasy point. can we start Derek Carr versus the Jets? It's crazy that I'm asking this, but is he a good stream against the Jets?
Right. Look, I think if you have Derek Carr, he's a must-start in this scenario. This is the Jets. You have to give him the opportunity again against the worst defense, against the worst team in the NFL. Obviously, they played the Falcons, and they weren't the worst defense, but they give up a lot of points to quarterbacks and wide receivers. So I think that's where maybe it kind of got mixed up in. Yeah. Where the Jets are just terrible all around. Okay. There's no one talented on this team. There's no one worth naming on this team. I mean, there's a couple, but just in general, like if I have Derek Carr, I'm setting and forgetting.
It depends on your options.
Absolutely.
But from a streaming perspective is what we're saying. Yes. Still a good stream this week.
Yeah.
Now, Nelson Aguilar has been kind of the most consistent wide receiver on this team. He's the only guy who didn't absolutely kill you last week. Put up 10 points. I think he is my Hail Mary matchup for this game. I think you can probably start him with some confidence in a flex. He's a guy I'm comfortable taking a risk on. I personally think that you can probably start him in a Hail Mary position.
Back in 82, I used to be able to throw a pigskin a quarter mile.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
But let's talk about the New York Jets, right? They say you play to win the game.
Hello, you play to win the game.
I'm not sure this organization is looking to win this game.
I mean, you play to win every game.
Yeah.
No, look, there's really no point of talking about the Jets. We know there's no one confident. There's no one that we can tell you with confidence that you should start. Okay, you're not starting James and Crowder. You're not starting Frank Gore. You're not starting Sam Darnold. Brashad Perryman. There's no one you're starting. Let's be honest here. It's sad. Sorry if you're a Jets fan. I'm sorry. Like that team's from New York, and I'm from New York. Even though I'm not a Jets fan, I'm a Giants fan. Still, it's embarrassing.
Yeah, it is embarrassing. But what can you do? It is what it is. All right. We are not going to tell you to start anyone on the Jets. So therefore, that concludes that matchup.
1-10 Jags at the 5-6 Vikings. Jags are very talented, I think. They played hard football.
Yeah.
I mean, they're better than the Jets. At least they got somebody you can start on this team, and that's James Robinson.
Yes, okay. They are better than the Jets for sure.
Yeah, look, obviously James Robinson is the only person you're starting on this team. James Robinson is the guy that he is a set forget. I think there's going to be a lot of talks about him in the offseason where he's going to be landing in fantasy drafts. He is extremely talented, and he has been very consistent for you. I'm pretty sure he's running back, still 5 of the year?
Yeah, he's been crazy good.
Yeah. Look, that's really the only person that I'm telling you to start. The only other person I would say that you could start is DJ Chark. He was out last week. We're still unsure of his status for the week, but I think if he does play, it's crazy, but I wouldn't be starting him with confidence if he would be my Hail Mary for this team.
Right. Just to clarify on the numbers, James Robinson is currently the 4th best running back on the year.
Number 4. Look, James Robinson is extremely talented. Just start him.
Yeah, number 4. Let's get some more.
Minnesota Vikings, Dalvin Cook, Adam Thielen, and Justin Jefferson. Okay?
Okay. Smash the start button.
That's it. You're setting and forgetting for these guys. Dalvin Cook, obviously, he didn't have his best performance last week. He got hurt. There was a little scare there, but you start Dalvin Cook, obviously. Adam Thielen, obviously, we're not sure about his status yet for this game. We haven't heard anything as of yet. We should be hearing a little bit more throughout the day, hopefully, about Adam Thielen if he's going to, come off this COVID reserve list. If he does play, you play him.
Yeah.
Okay? You play him. That's it.
Let me ask you quickly, about Dalvin Cook.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably the time of the year where you want to secure your handcuffs.
Yep.
So that's why Devontae Booker was on the waiver show yesterday. Mm-hmm. Maybe if Alexander Madison is in your league and you're a Dalvin Cook owner, maybe now's the time to start securing these handcuffs, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's some clear handcuffs. I mean, Derrick Henry doesn't really have a clear handcuff. I mean, if you got Aaron Jones, you need to start securing Jamal Williams. There are handcuffs that you need to start thinking about going into the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good point. I was going to say maybe we should do a post about it on Instagram for handcuffs. We'll see.
Yeah.
JJ, Justin Jefferson, the best receiver on this team, quote unquote, from Zach Savage.
Yeah, come at me. Take me on.
He had an amazing game last week. Obviously, Adam Thielen was out. This game script, Dalvin Cook got hurt and they started throwing the ball a lot more. And I think, the game script went on in his favor. But look, I don't expect him to be putting up 26 points, 25 points he did. I still think he's going to be putting up points. I still think he'll find the end zone. I just don't think he'll give you as much. I expect maybe not half, but 15.
Right.
17.
Man, he's so good. You guys know how much I like him. But, I saw this post today where there's a quote from Justin Jefferson saying he looks at routes like he looks at crossovers. That's the way he views his routes.
Wow.
He wants to leave people confused.
Wow.
And I just was like, that's such a great way to describe it, because if you see a good route and a cornerback's lost, it's like, damn, bro, you just got played. And Justin Jefferson is just, wow, he's so talented.
No, that's crazy. I didn't know that. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Derek Carr or Kirk Cousins?
Good question. And I think I'm going to probably have to go with Kirk Cousins because of the talent around him. Right? So Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook. I think there's a lot of opportunities for him to score a touchdown, whereas like Derek Carr is in a better matchup, but it's Nelson Aguilar, Darren Waller. That's really his receiving options. I mean, I know obviously Henry Huggs, as we like to call him, is talented, but he's not involved in the game plan.
Okay. Yeah.
You probably see it a different way, though.
No, I think so as well. I think it's hard. I think if you have both of these guys, if one of these guys are available in your waiver wires, and I'm happy to start both of them. I'm just happy to start both of them. It was just a question. I'll start both of them regardless.
I think they're both, we've said this before, but you have to realize what a streaming cornerback is, right? You should not expect a crazy game when you stream a quarterback. You should expect an okay game. That's a reality when you don't have a Russell Wilson, a Patrick Mahomes, a Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
If you're streaming quarterbacks, guess what? You're not going to have these boom games. You got to expect okay games, and I think they both can give you an okay game. But Badaki, let's quickly talk about Patreon. Let's quickly talk about that. What is Patreon?
Patreon.com/FantasyLand Fam, just a way for you to support the show. And if you like what we're doing here, if you watch our YouTube videos, if you listen to our podcasts, if you follow us on Instagram and you like what we're doing and you wanted to support us, go to Patreon, patreon.com/FantasyLand Fam, just a way for you to support the show, to show love and to bring awareness, but to bring notice, I guess, to us, to our name and who we are and what we do, not for just this year, but for the years to come, because we're really excited about the playoffs now, but we are extremely excited for year 2 of Fantasyland. It's going to be extremely fun. You think we're doing some good stuff now? Wow.
Big things.
Wait until next year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Let's talk about the 2-8-1 Bengals at the 7-4 Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
So crazy to say the Dolphins are 7-4, but they are.
They are.
I think the Dolphins will win this game. I don't think it's going to be hard for them to win this game.
Yeah. I agree.
For the Bengals, I don't think there is a must start. I don't think there is a player that I'm going to tell you have to start this player. Dolphins are a great defense, and with Brandon Allen back there at quarterback, I'm not sure there will be any consistency for any receiving option on this team, and it's really unfortunate. Tyler Boyd last week found himself on our trash list. Was really not his fault, but he's just not getting the connection he had with Joe Burrow.
No.
T. Higgins had a good week, and he found the end zone, but it's not like I expect that to happen on a consistent basis either.
Yeah, I believe so as well. It's hard to start any of these guys now with any confidence, which is it's extremely disappointing. I think the only person in my perspective I personally am okay to start is Joe Mixon if he does come back. Other than that, I'm not excited.
Well, he won't be back this week.
Huh?
He won't be back this week because he's on IR, but
yeah.
Do you mean just like going forward?
Yeah, going forward. Maybe even when he does come back, I'm not excited to start him. But if he was off IR and he was playing with the quarterback right now, I would be a little bit more confident. But when Joe Mixon comes back and you guys have him and you're in the playoffs, I'm not excited to start Joe Mixon.
Yeah. Not much you can do there, guys, but
It is what it is. It is what it is.
The Miami Dolphins, I'm going to give you two scenarios, okay? Let's create two worlds, okay?
Okay.
World A, Ryan Fitzpatrick is named the starter, okay? What a beautiful world for fantasy football. Wow. Lots of things flourishing. Green plants coming out of the earth. And opportunity.
Okay.
And man, I would love to start Ryan Fitzpatrick in this matchup. He would maybe be my stream of the week.
Okay.
At quarterback. Devontae Parker, beautiful matchup in this world. Lots of opportunity, lots of free open targets with someone who's free to give him the chances. Myles Gaskin, maybe he comes back. Maybe Salvon Ahmed, whoever's named the starter. Yeah. I'm okay to start these guys. This is a beautiful world. We got Ryan Fitzpatrick moving the ball.
Yeah.
Mike Gesicki. Yep. He's a decent tight end option, right? I think he's a Hail Mary matchup for this matchup, a Hail Mary player for me. He got into the end zone last week.
Yeah.
5 targets. Mm-hmm. And it looks like Ryan Fitzpatrick is making him fantasy relevant. That world sounds beautiful. It sounds so nice. It sounds exciting. It sounds fun. Let me take you to a different world. World B, okay? Let's have a look at World B. In this scenario, Tua Tagovailoa is the starter, okay?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In that case, let me tell you who I am comfortable starting.
Who?
That is everyone I am comfortable starting.
GG's.
In that scenario. I am not looking to start Tua. I'm not looking to start Devontae. I'm not comfortable starting any running back, and I'm certainly not starting Mike Gesicki. And it might be harsh, but I just don't think Tua, from what we've seen so far, I'm not saying he can't be the guy that makes people fantasy relevant.
Right.
I'm saying from the sample size we have seen so far, it's not been good for fantasy football purposes.
Okay.
Thoughts?
No, it's not that I disagree. I do agree. I don't know.
You sound very
I agree. I think
here.
I believe in Tua. That's why. I believe in Tua, and I want to.
Yeah.
I do agree with you. Like, it's clear. Devontae Parker and Mike Gesicki were fantasy relevant when Ryan Fitzpatrick played.
Yeah.
It's clear. Absolutely clear. And Tua only had 2 opportunities so far. Once again, their defense did help. The defense didn't really perform this week.
Yeah.
They did. They had some sacks, and I think they had an interception. I think a fumble as well, but they didn't have that touchdown to where like the defense led them.
Right.
You know, like
yeah.
Ryan Fitzpatrick led this team to a win.
For sure.
So
yeah, and I think I believe in Tua as well, but that doesn't mean I have to start anyone from this team in fantasy football.
That's fair. I agree. Okay. 7-4 Colts at the 4-7 Texans here.
Uh-oh.
I forgot about this.
Oh, you know what it is. If you've been listening to the podcast, you know what this means. This is our upset of the week, Badaki.
Yeah. Look, is it shocking?
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know.
Just lost Will Fuller? Some people might not like it.
Yeah, some people might not like it.
A lot of people don't like when we do an upset of the week.
Tell us. I feel like you can sell this a little bit better than I can.
Okay. Yeah. Look, here's the reality. Anytime, guys, I just want to clarify. When we do these upsets, this is really just for fun. We try and just have fun with these upsets. I think if we were betting people, we would say the Colts probably should win this game, right? Great defense. It looks like they have a couple things figured out. The Colts are the favorites, as they should be. The Colts should win this game. But when we look at this week, we like this as the upset of the week compared to any other matchup.
Right.
And the reason is Deshaun Watson. That is the only reason. I think Deshaun Watson is an elite quarterback. I think he is a top 5 quarterback in this league. If you told me today, hey, who do you want to start a franchise with? Obviously, there's Patrick Mahomes, right?
Right.
I think there's Kyler Murray.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe Russ is in there. He's getting a little bit higher in the age.
Yeah.
Josh Allen, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I would rather have Deshaun Watson than Josh Allen to build my franchise around. I think Deshaun Watson's an elite quarterback, an elite talent. And I think he is the only reason that the Texans have a chance to win any game ever.
Right.
Like, who's been the reason that the Texans have won a game this year? Has it been the brilliant play of David Johnson? No, it hasn't. Has it been?
No, not at all.
Will Fuller? Will Fuller's helped, but it's not been because of Will Fuller. Has it been that defense? Absolutely not. Look, the only reason they have 4 wins on the year is because of Deshaun Watson. And I think he's got a great opportunity to make this an interesting game and potentially pull off a win.
Say no more. I agree. I think Deshaun Watson's very talented. It's right. I mean, if you had to start a franchise, wow, Deshaun Watson. He's young. He's talented.
Yeah. Yep.
Colts side of the ball. It's hard to say, really. Really, really hard to say.
Yeah.
There's so much talent on this team, but not enough talent on the team. Not enough fantasy talent for me on this team. Okay. Yeah. Nyheim Hines. I have 2 thought process. Not really 2. I think if he had a decent game, okay? He had a decent game last week. But if Jonathan Taylor is back, which he is, I think. He is back this week. I think he's in practice. He was clear. I think you might have to start both of them. It's coming to a point where you have to start Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines because you just don't know who is going to be getting the ball, who is going to be in the end zone, who is going to be the guy for this Colts backfield. Yeah,
unfortunately, you might be in a position where if you own one of these guys, you don't have another option that you are more solidified with.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's a scary flex, maybe, but something you might have to do with the matchup.
And I can't really tell you who to start. Honestly, I'm not really sure if Hines or JT is going to be this guy. It's so weird that this season for this team has been so much question on who is it? Who is it? Let's just stick with one guy. But Michael Pittman Jr., he didn't have his best game last week. I think it was just matchup based, even though the matchup was good. I think they locked him down.
It was a game plan for sure from what it looked like.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. Look, for me, I started him last week in my flex. It was my only option really. In one of my leagues. He didn't do too well for me, but he's a Hail Mary for me. It's Hail Mary. Michael Pittman is the Hail Mary scenario. Same thing with T.Y. Hilton is also a Hail Mary scenario as well for me. I mean, he found the end zone last week. He found the end zone for the first time.
Wow.
What? This season?
Yeah, it's crazy to say. So much potential coming in, but it's not been good.
No, it hasn't been good. And then I think the other guys that I want to talk about is Trey Burton, which was on the waiver wire list, and Jake Doyle. These guys have been getting work in some way, some form.
Yeah.
And I think if you need a tight end, these are great Hail Mary options. If you listen to our waiver wire episode, we kind of break that down and tell you about why we like Trey Burton and why we think he's a great pickup and a great start. But
I think, I don't think you can start Jack Doyle, but I agree with Trey Burton.
Yeah.
I think he is a decent start.
Yeah, exactly. So Trey Burton, he's been finding the ball. He's been finding targets. Phillip Rivers
playing that Taysom Hill role sometimes.
Yeah, and Phillip Rivers loves the tight end. So
yeah,
we know that. I mean, he made Hunter Henry who he is today, Antonio Gates who he is today. Like, these are the guys that, Phillip Rivers kind of molded in a way.
For sure.
Texans side of the ball, obviously Deshaun Watson, like we talked about. Will Fuller, I mean, huge disappointment there if you're a Will Fuller fan, but I think the next guy up is Brandon Cooks. Okay, Brandon Cooks and then Kiki QT. I think we spoke about him a little bit earlier as well. If there is a Hail Mary for this game, it's Kiki QT. Potentially. I think I would rather have Jordan Akins. We'll talk about him a little bit more. But Brandon Cooks is the next guy. I
just had a thought, and I don't think it's well formed.
Okay.
I've always just thrown out thoughts. Let me throw a different world out there for Texans fans. Bill O'Brien gets fired after the playoffs last year. They hire Bill, what's his name, for the offensive coach for the Chiefs. Benamy? How do you say his name?
I'm not sure how to say. Buchanan?
Eric Bieniemy, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Eric Bieniemy. Just really smart guy, really good at putting great offenses together. He's the head coach now, right? Bill O'Brien's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in this scenario, obviously DeAndre Hopkins is still there, which means DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller are there. And they decide, obviously, no one could have told you that James Robinson would have been this guy. But imagine they drafted just some running back instead of trading for a guy who's got a massive contract like David Johnson, who's past his prime by far. You've got James Robinson, or player B, whatever it looks like, Will Fuller, DeAndre Hopkins, Deshaun Watson, and you've got Eric Bieniemy play calling. Wow. Has this franchise taken the worst turn they possibly could, giving up all their draft capital, giving up one of the best wide receivers in the game, and in return getting a way past his prime running back who's costing you so much money?
Yeah.
I'm sorry if you're listening as a Texans fan, but sometimes it's fun to play scenarios. Man, imagine they would have done this. We could say it about anything, but man, it feels like this franchise, Bill O'Brien did such a number on it.
Yeah. He really ruined it, I think. And there's still so much talent on this team.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see. It's exciting to see where this team can go without Bill O'Brien, honestly.
Yeah. And last thing I'll say is Eric Bieniemy needs to be a head coach in the league next year. It's actually stupid that he wasn't a head coach this year. It's so dumb, the people who got a job over him. But anyway, go ahead.
Brandon Cooks.
It's like, how do we move on from that?
No, I mean, I would love to continue to talk about that and elaborate, but I just don't think we have time about it.
Brandon Cooks.
We could talk about it in the live stream. I think that's really something really cool.
Yeah.
But Brandon Cooks, obviously, Will Fuller is out for the rest of the year, and he's the next guy up. He's the guy I personally think is going to take Will Fuller role. He's going to be the guy that's going to get all these targets. He's going to find the end zone. He is the next guy up.
Yeah.
Jordan Akins, like I said earlier, I think he's a good stream if you need a tight end. Now that Will Fuller is out, I think he will be more involved in the offense, just a little bit more, nothing too crazy. I think he is a good stream this week as well with Kiki QT if you want a Hail Mary desperation play, which I highly don't recommend purely because of where we're at in the season. And then obviously running backs, I'm not excited to start any of the Johnsons, Duke Johnson or David Johnson. There's no way I'm starting them. Even if David Johnson does come back, I'm still not starting him or confident in starting both of those guys. So I'm not excited.
Yeah. Okay. I think the only guy I want to highlight quickly is maybe Darren Fells, because it's not really clear who the tight end there is.
Yeah.
So both of those guys are kind of like in that maybe they'll be more relevant scenario. But let's talk about the 4-7 Lions at the 5-6 Bears. Your must-start players for the Lions: T.J. Hawkinson, 8 targets last week, almost 90 yards.
Almost. With
Kenny Golladay out, seems like he is the favorite target. And DeAndre Swift,
Swifty.
It looks like he's gonna play this week. And
yeah,
man, how many points would Swift have had last game versus Houston if he played? he would have had like at least 20+ points.
And what's crazy is that a lot of people didn't start AP just purely because they weren't confident in starting him, and they just didn't know if he was going to get the ball. They didn't know if it was going to be AP. They thought Kerryon Johnson could take some touches and all this other stuff, but it wasn't the case.
Yeah. If he plays, obviously, I think he is playing. You start him. You start both of those guys, TJ and Swift. And Kenny Golladay, man, that hip injury, he's now missed 4 games so far. If he comes back, do you play him in this game against the Bears, though? Do you have can you actually play him with any confidence?
I think if you have him, you have to start him.
Right.
If you have a Will Fuller and Kenny G is on your bench, you start him, obviously.
Right.
But, I mean, you have to. You have to.
Depends on the options, but could be a start if he plays. I'm not looking to start any other guy on this team. I mean, Matthew Stafford is not someone I'm wanting to start against the Chicago Bears.
No.
They are the 6th best against quarterbacks, and he's been average this year. He's been really average. He's not been a guy that you've wanted to start most weeks.
No.
And the last guy I'll talk about for the Lions is Marvin Jones. He's really the definition of a Hail Mary matchup. He is a boom or bust guy. He could either give you 15 points or none. And I'm not comfortable starting him in this matchup.
Right.
But he is kind of a Hail Mary guy this week. Now, the Bears side of the ball, you're really only starting 2 guys. You don't need to make it complicated. There's only 2 people on the Chicago Bears that should be in your starting lineup.
Right.
And that's David Montgomery and Allen Robinson. Monty, coming off his best game all year last time out, had a really great game against the Packers. Very respectable game, and his vision looked way better than it has.
Impeccable. The concussion did something to him.
The concussion just put
lined
everything
him
back
up.
in place. Yeah. This matchup gets better. This is a better matchup technically for David Montgomery.
Mm-hmm.
Detroit is last in the league defending running backs in fantasy. So if all goes right, David Montgomery could have a field day against this defense. And Allen Robinson, look, he's an elite talent, and he's a target monster. And I think these are the only 2 guys you can start with confidence. I'm not starting the old man, Jimmy Graham. You see it the same way.
Yeah. Say no more. Say no more. Let's go on to the next one. 9-2 Saints at the 4-7 Falcons. I mean, honestly, let's just jump right into it. It's crazy to say, but it's scary to start any of these guys on the Saints. Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara.
Yep.
And that's absolutely crazy to say because Alvin Kamara is extremely talented. Michael Thomas is extremely talented. These guys are both, or at least were projected to be number 1 and number 1 in both of their positions. Wow.
But you have to start them.
You have to start him. You have to start him. Obviously, the whole Taysom Hill thing has taken touches away from Alvin Kamara. The game script last week was a little bit different.
I'm so done with this Taysom Hill experiment. It's boring. It sucks to watch. It's painful to watch him play football as a starting quarterback. That was the most boring game I've ever seen in my life last week. I hated watching that game, and I love football. Please, in the Taysom Hill experiment. I know it's working, but we get it, Sean Payton. Now show us you can do it with Jameis Winston. Please, just give us what we want.
We'll see.
Please.
We'll see. I think I said it before. I think Taysom Hill was their best chance to win. The best opportunity for them was Taysom Hill. I personally think this could be a good stream. Obviously, with Derek Carr, Derek Carr was a good stream last week, and it's crazy to say that Taysom Hill could be the guy that can be a good stream this week against the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah. Jared Cook is another guy I want to talk about. He dropped the goose as well. I'm not starting him with confidence. Let's just be honest with that. There's no way I'm starting him.
He shouldn't be rostered, maybe. Unless Drew Brees comes back, he's not valuable at all.
Yeah, exactly. Falcons side of the ball, look, you're starting every single person on this team if they play. Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Cam Ridley, Hayden Hurst, and Todd Gurley. I think you have to start each and every one of these guys. If Julio plays, you play him. Calvin Ridley, he's all right, you play him. Hayden Hurst, not confident in starting him, but you have to play him. Let's be honest. And same thing with Todd Gurley. He's getting his touches, but he's very inefficient in gaining any sort of yards. But somehow he finds the end zone when he plays.
Yeah,
so
definitely
you start every single person on the Falcons, and if you like it or not, just do it.
I agree. All right, the last matchup for the day, guys, is the 4-7 New York Football Giants, currently leading the NFC East, at the 8-3 Seahawks. Probably not going to win this game.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. I mean, if Daniel Jones is out, it's extremely sad. But if he's out, we are not going to win this game. And if he does play, I think we have a 70-30 chance to win this game. And we're on the 30 side. And I think that's pretty good for the Giants.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Seahawks are going to win this game, and I don't think it's going to be all that difficult. But your must-starts on the Giants. Wayne Gallman in the last 5 games.
Bang! Bang! It's good.
Give it to Wayne. Give it to Wayne Gallman. Look.
He's been so good.
Let me say something crazy here. Wayne Gallman can be a top running back in the league. And not because he's on my team, just because I really think he's talented when he came. And when I say a running back, let me not say top running back. He can be... What if Wayne...
Pump the brakes.
What if Wayne Gallman was on the Texans?
I think he wouldn't be any better than anyone who's been there.
Say no more. You don't think
I just destroyed your dream entirely.
You don't think he'd be better than what David Johnson obviously has produced this year? Or obviously...
I think he could maybe be better than David Johnson, but I'm not sure that it would be like, oh my gosh, this dude's breaking out.
No, I don't think he's, oh my gosh, this dude's breaking out. I think he's like, okay.
Let's put it this way. If Wayne Gallman was a starting running back for the Texans, would he be drafted in the first 6 rounds of fantasy football?
I think he would. Was David Johnson drafted in the first 6 rounds of fantasy football?
Yeah, he was, but that's because people thought the name, maybe there is some sort of revitalization with his career, and they took the gamble on that. I don't know. I mean, no, I think Wayne's a talent, and he's been absolutely clutch in the last 5 weeks. Mm-hmm. In the last 5 games, which, by the way, is pretty much when he got all the touches when Devontae Freeman went out. Last 5 games, he's scored 6 touchdowns. A touchdown in every single game. Seattle is 19th against running backs, so they're about in the middle of the pack. So you can run on Seattle if you do it well. I think Wayne Gallman is a must-start if you need a running back. I'm personally going to start him because CMC is out, as well as Curtis Samuel in a league. So I need an option to start at flex. He's going to be a flex play for me, and I'm pretty confident starting him at flex.
Yeah.
Is that something we can tell people with confidence, both of us?
Yeah, absolutely. You start him with confidence. Joe Judge loves to run the ball. Make sure you start him, I think.
Yep. Evan Ingram is the only other guy I want to talk about. He's been pretty solid since week 7, considering the tight end position. If Daniel Jones is out, though, can you still start Evan Ingram?
It's hard to say. Colt McCoy did target him, I think, once or twice when he was out.
Yeah.
So I think the game plan is still Evan Ingram. It's not.
Yeah.
You can't start it with confidence if Danny Dimes is out. But Colt McCoy looks like he could be steering that way. Yeah, it could be all about Evan Ingram and only Evan Ingram.
I can tell you as a former, obviously Colt McCoy was on the Washington football team for a while. And there's always talks about, man, Colt McCoy can be a starting quarterback. And then when he got his opportunities, it never looked like that was the case. But it's going to be interesting to see.
This is the best scenario week for us. I think we talked about it earlier. Everyone in the NFC East could lose this week, and we still lead the Giants. And then if Danny Dimes only missed 1 week.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. It's actually crazy how it's all lined up in week 13 for the NFC East. The Washington football team is playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's going to be a hard one. Mm-hmm. Like we are talking about right now, the Giants are playing the Seahawks. The Cowboys play the Ravens. And the Eagles play the Packers. You would assume that everyone in the NFC East would, if you're just looking at the teams without playing the games, there's a reason they play the games, though. You would say everyone's going to lose that week.
Yeah.
Which means the Giants would be on top of the NFC East at 4-8. But obviously we play the games for a reason, so we'll see what happens.
We'll see.
For the Seattle Seahawks, you are starting 4 people and 4 people alone, and you're not thinking about it. Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and Chris Carson. Russ, is Russ cooling off? I don't know. I just think maybe he didn't need to do much last game.
Right.
I don't think he really needed to be MVP Russ. DK is obviously an elite talent. Tyler Lockett is really a boomer bust guy, but you probably can't leave him on your bench considering your options, obviously.
Yeah.
But you probably can't leave him on your bench. And Chris Carson, let's talk about him for a second. What is the deal with Carlos Hyde taking all these touches?
Yeah, I think it's just a mental thing for Pete Carroll. They didn't want Chris Carson to come straight into the game with this injury. They wanted him to really take it slow, and that was my thought process. If you see Chris Carson starting the game next week and he has a lot more touches, don't be surprised, because I think that was the way they were going. They wanted to get him into the rhythm. They didn't want him to re-injure his foot sprain. But look, he looked really good. That run that he got into the end zone, wow, he looked really strong. He did the same thing.
Wow, what a run from Chris Carson.
Yeah.
He's such a great talent. I don't think they're going to give him the money, but he's such a great talent.
Yeah. I believe it.
Yes, sir. All right, guys, that is the last matchup on today's show. We are covering all the rest of the matchups on tomorrow's show, so make sure you don't miss it. Let's get prepped for Week 13. Let's get those wins.
Yep.
And by the way, just want to let you know, there might be a player that we are going to miss in these 2 episodes. What we do is every Saturday, we go live on our YouTube page, FantasyLand Football, and we answer all your start-sit questions for the week. We answer over 100 questions every week. We are on live stream for about an hour, hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours, answering your questions, hanging out, saying hey. It's always been a really fun time, so make sure that you join us. It's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Easiest way to know when it's going to happen is just to turn notifications on YouTube.
Yeah.
But we'll see you there. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Again, don't miss our next episode. We're going to cover the rest of the matchups. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today. The last thing we want to tell you about is Fantasyland Gaming. Badaki, what is Fantasyland Gaming?
Yeah, Fantasyland Gaming is just another platform that you guys can come join us, hang out with us. Once this podcast comes out, pretty sure you'll probably have seen it on our Instagram that we're streaming. So follow us on Fantasyland Gaming on Instagram and at Fantasyland_GGs on Twitter. Just come out and play. We like to play Call of Duty. We're going to start streaming a couple different games like Cold War, 2K, Madden. Mm-hmm. Join us there. Let's have some fun. Join some chats. We like to answer all fantasy questions there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Crazy to say, but some of you are going to find out if you win or lose Week 12 tonight.
Yeah.
And we're talking about Week 13, but it's going to be a fun one to watch. Hopefully the Ravens can hang in there. But good luck tonight, guys. Hopefully you get what you need to win and you're headed towards the playoffs. We will see you on the show tomorrow. See you there.
See you there.
Hey, yeah, you, the one listening to this podcast, you made a good decision today. Keep making those good decisions. You know what? Go ahead and do a little dance right now, like no one's watching, because you deserve it.